Good morning, fellow students. I'm kind of creating this a bit quick before I head off to class. Um, in this video, we're going to look at the last of chapter 4, the Appendix A, uh, page 115, creating a form for data entry and display. I want to show you a couple things before we start out. Um, I'm going to just go into my file cabinet here. We have our database that we've been creating, SSS. All the data that we are storing actually gets put into that file, as you might assume, and that's true. It does go in there, and these files grow in size. They usually get to about a maximum. I think two gigabytes is the maximum size of the database. So if you're dealing with a lot of data, these and a lot of tables and classes, these files can get awful big quickly. One of the features of Access is you can actually create multiple instances of the database. Now, um, if I just duplicate, uh, it, it's actually two of the same database. Now, if I start making changes to the records in one, it won't show up in the other, and vice versa. In this case, these are they're distinct databases, uh, and you can. One of the good features of this is create yourself some copies to work with, so that if you're moving forward, you make a mistake, you can always go back to one of your old copies to not have to start over again, basically. So if you start getting into advanced stuff that involves really changing around your database, it's important to do this. You can also do that just for like backup purposes. You can copy it over to an external drive or into the cloud, but it is 2 gigabytes. It's about the size of a large movie, a 3-hour movie. But let's just say, for example, these are different databases. You can have one database that only has the customer class in it. You can have one database that has all the sales transactions in it, and you can have another database so you can literally make a database for each of your classes. And there's actually a way you can link the data into your active database that you're working with, um, so that just like you retrieve external data that you learned about in the Excel class. So anyway, that's just something I wanted to show. So let's get into our access here. We've been working on this database here, the SSS database. We've created our tables, and first of all, we're talking about forms. And forms is like a picture into your records, into your database, or into your tables and classes. So if let's just pick one here, we'll go to the customer one here, for example. This is the raw data, and you it's not. I mean, certainly you can come in here and you can put data in here. Like I can put my name. I can add information. The moment I hit tab or click on the next space over, that Jeremy is actually logged into the file. You don't have to click up here with the save button. Literally going from one space automatically saves. So that if somebody else were using the database and want to change it, maybe I misspelled it and somebody's watching over me, they could come in and fix it while I'm working on the second one. So I put in the other one. You can put in your address, and again, the fastest way to data enter is tab or shift tab. So tab takes you forward, shift tab takes you back. But inputting data here is kind of rough. It's not the optimal way of doing things, and so that's why we create forms in Access. Forms are designed for data entry, but forms are also designed for displaying information in a pretty format. So that's what we're doing here today. So I'm just going to close this table out now. And it's warning me, see, that the customer number is supposed to be 6 digits. Remember, we had saved that they have to be done. So we can't, so it's not going to save that zero is what it's saying. Because let me show you why it was doing that. We go into our design view and we go under the number. And so down here, the default value was 0, but so that's not correct because we're saying it has to be 6 digits. So if we want the default, we'd have to actually do like 6 zeros. It's not going to let us. So let's just do a 1. So zeros don't work. Sometimes because it's a number. If it were a text, that would work. Oh, that's not going to like it either. So literally, this database was in the book designed to start at 100,000, or 100,000. So anyway, that'd be the smallest default value that we could use because they want this to be 6 digits. Anyway, that's why it wasn't saving. If we go back into our data view here, you can see it's changed that, and now we can put in Jeremy here, and I'll just a couple pieces more of data. Do one more record. Now, see, this is why I don't like the using of this and not using the auto numbers. You can see that this is 2 right now. Why is it 2? Because we probably had a 1 at some point in my session and we deleted the record. So it's gone. But and so it just automatically goes forward. So if you're ever erasing something, you'll just have a digit missing in your auto keys. That's why I like the auto keys rather than creating your own. This is actually doing manual labor. So I'm actually having to think, okay, what was the last record I did, or look, and you'll have to type it in, and you've got to complete the correct format, and that's just not very good, not for users, and not for misspelled my own name. And so we'll put somebody else here, John, and he lives at Campus Circle. Also in Texas. So we now have 2 pieces of data. But like I said, keying information in here is very rough. You don't do it very often. You can, but I don't recommend it. The other thing is that you would maybe use it when you're importing data and you just kind of want to look and make sure everything's looking around, or you want to see, like, if you're letting people type state and some of them are going to put Texas and other people are going to put Texas, then this format sometimes is a quick way to look at your fields and make sure that everything's the way you would like it to be. But the cleaner way to do it is to do validation rules and set criteria like the masks to prevent them from even putting Texas like this and making them always put Texas like in the abbreviation form. But even cleaner than that is we'll make a table of the states so that when you hit the button T, well, we have Tennessee, I guess, too, but you'll type T, and then the T's will automatically jump up, and there'll be a pull down menu here, and you can a drop down option here, and so you could do that. But we got to do that all in forms, not here in the rough data. So that's again why I say. So let's just jump in here real quick, and let's start it. So on step 1, we opened our database. We've done that. Step 2, page 116, we click on the Create a tab. So let me close this first quick. So click on the Create a tab, and then we're going in here to the Form Wizard. Wizards are really cool. They help you out when you don't understand the building from scratch. So it makes it quick and easy. And then you can always edit it. So if you don't like what you get, you can modify it. Now, when we were looking at the raw data, we're only grabbing data in that case from the table customer. But when you're creating forms, as well as reports later on, we'll learn about that. But when we're learning, when we're pulling from forms, we can literally pull some fields from one from one table, and other data from another table or another class. So you can literally mix them around if you want to be updating kind of two tables at the same time, or displaying. As I said, forms are used for display as well. So certainly you would want to do that. Also, they have forms inside of forms. And that would be a case where you would want to see a sales order with all the items in it. So the items is coming from your items table. And so you have item 1, item 2, item 3, and that's all sitting inside that one sales record table. And so that makes it, that's kind of one of the main reasons why you would do that way. But you come over here and you select what you want. You can pull over one at a time what you want. In this case, I'm just going to drop everything in. Okay, so this drops everything in. Otherwise, you can drop one at a time, just flagging it and pulling it over. Okay, so we're going to do that. I'm on step 4. And we've selected everything as they wanted. Step 5. We're going to click on Next. And this is going to pull up our layouts. So column is much like raw data. It's up and down. Tabular is also, it's a little bit different format, and then data sheet is kind of like an Excel spreadsheet. And then finally justified. And in this case, they want us to do it in columnar format. So we're going to actually see what this looks like. And then we click on Next. And what do we want to call this form? And we don't want to call it table customer because it's a form. So I just make it. I just usually do FM, but we'll just put whole form for today. So form customer. And then we want to modify the form's design. Click finish, and the wizard will spit out a rough item of what we want. So what we're looking at here is this is the bottom of your, this is what will display like that. We can just switch real quick to see what it looks like. So anything outside of it just ended up blank space. So it's kind of wasted space. But if you wanted your form to be displayed on a cell phone or a tablet, you need to make it smaller like this. Because I think nowadays on the Access, you can do these into a web design, and enter information through the cloud, put your database on the cloud, and enter information from your cell phone, your tablet. So sometimes you do want these forms to be small. I don't know if they've gotten fancy enough to adjust sizing depending on what you're using. I don't think they've done that. Another database program that I love using is called FileMaker, and they are more user friendly. Of course, it's made by the Apple, it was designed for the Macintosh Apple computer, so obviously it's more graphical and and they were actually way ahead of the Access for a long time as far as graphics go. But this is what Access offers is this. So we'll go back to our design view here, as they're saying. So I'm on 7, click the X in the top right corner of the field list. So they just want us to eliminate this so it's not bothering us and we can see everything. So we're looking at all our fields. Each field has a label field. That's these here. So this is where your data is going to be here. But this is what you're actually going to see. So instead of saying customer PK here, I would just say my primary key. So here you can use spaces because it's just a text field. So primary key is my customer PK. And again, you can really play around with this. You can put the primary key up here. You can make things a little bit bigger. Again, I haven't played with this one, so I'm a little rusty. It's been a long time. So let's just stretch this. So you can grab all your fields. I mean, everything's just drag and drop. Pull it down. So I can put this over here. So, whoop, there's a way to do it. Let me see here. I want to undo that. Okay. I think sometimes they're linked together. You have to, yeah, that's how you do it. You have to stretch the, oh no. Well, I'd have to figure out, there is a way, it's kind of holding them together, but that you can put this down here. Maybe it's because we're in columnar, this setting. If we were in the justified, I could definitely do that way. But let's go back in here. So yeah, as they're saying, each one has a label field and then a text field. And that's where your data is located. So you can, as they're saying here, you can reduce the size. So if the zip is definitely not that big, you can bring it down here and make it smaller. Last name, yeah, keep it kind of big. First name, address, definitely. City, you could reduce that somewhat. State, definitely, if we're using abbreviations, can be tiny. And email, keep it longer. But so let's see here. Showing you the sizes in step 8. Enlarge the customer number text field so the entire text is visible. If we go over here to our where did my field go? Oh. Here we go. So if we go back into display view, that's my primary key is that. This is the 6-digit number. So we definitely have enough space here for all 6 digits to be here. But this is why, like I said, they're allowing you to type on this customer number. Now, of course, we can still force it to be the 6 digits. We can allow them to type in what they want. But if they by chance make a mistake and name 2 things the same, it's not going to crash the database. And that's because we're going to base it off our primary key, which is always sequential and never gets reused. The computer never was going to let it get reused. So it helps enforce the integrity rules. So step 8 is resizing. Step 9, clicking on the view. So that's what we're doing here, showing you what the view is. Step 10, in this, we can actually start keying in data is what they're wanting us to do. So we'll come down here. It says to do 1,000 or 100,001. I'm just, again, here's the zip jumped up here. You can, you pull it into wherever you want. Let's go back to that real quick and do that. So design view. So I have my address, city, state, and zip. So I need to give myself some space and pull that down over here. A little cleaner, but anyway, you play around with it how you want. Okay. So, and again, you switch things around. That's awkward. So Jeremy Smith, Main Street, and they say Denver, Colorado. Of course, you want to follow the book and put what they want. If you want to do it exactly like there, we're just adding some example data. And I believe this is the last time we'll use this file. And because in chapter 5, I was looking ahead and we're building another database. So I won't repeat stuff that we've learned in building it. I might show you some highlights if there's any changes. But other than that, this will be it. So here it is. You can click here. So we have 2 records. See, so 1, 2, and then if we need a blank one, we click on the next one, and it's going to generate that for us. Now we can lock these things too. Like right now, you can click in it, and it shouldn't be that way. We'd actually lock it, so you couldn't do that. And actually, we don't need to see the primary key when in this format. You just know it's being generated on the back end. So at this point, our customer looks like this. Save the database and close. Now, again, when you've gone from one cell to the next, it's already been saved. The only reason we're clicking save now is because we're saving our form. So I'm just going to save it. So that's saving the design view of what we created. And yeah, so they're saying close it out, and they're saying go into our customer and showing you that here it is that our data has been changed. So it grabbed I must have pulled up the old copy where I didn't drag the zip over, but that's why you kind of want to organize these in order, because when you use the wizards, it likes to choose things right from that. So that's all that really they covered in the Appendix A. There is one other thing we talked about at the beginning of this, and that is you can link external data. And I was reviewing it. We click on external data here, and then we want to get a new data source, I believe, or link table manager. Yeah, here, new data source from another Access database. So we click on the other Access database. We can go into the documents folder, but it wasn't on the documents folder. It was on had it on the desktop. So browse desktop, and here we go. Here's our other copies. So these could be different databases, just the tables, the customer table, the sales table. So you click on one, you click on open. Do we want to import the tables? You can use this to like not have to recreate things again and again. If you're creating databases for multiple customers in your business as an accountant, you can copy preset tables and stuff over that you're going to be using again and again and modify them for the specifics for your customer. But in our case, we're going to link the data. And so click that, click OK, and then it will create a virtual. It's asking us which table do we want over there, and we can select that. So that's kind of how you link external data. And it also helps you if you're getting to size limitations, because again, you can't exceed 2 gigabytes of data, which is a lot for just text. If you start having logos and stuff, graphics and stuff, then this can really grow quickly, too quickly. So anyway, that's about all to cover for now. I'll upload this video real quick, and I'm off to class. So see you guys later. Have a good day. We'll see you in the next.